Welcome. My name is Shannon, and if you have been to my channel before, you know I talk about just connecting to our soul, being authentic, like that we're the answer and how we activate the answers within us. And today I have truly a sister, Akata Vesta. She is a quantum soul guidance practitioner. That's how her and I met. And we recorded a conversation, a podcast last month, and we really enjoyed talking and sharing. And so we are back. And I want to start with, because last time we talked the night before, because this is about soul connections and how we connect through frequency and how we connect through the non-physical. And last time her and I were going to talk, I woke up like 4 in the morning and I had to write something down, which is something I never do. And then last night, thankfully it was before I went to bed, the same thing happened where I'm like, oh, I just have to share. I just have to write this down. I was about to get in the shower and I wrote it down before I got in the shower because I didn't want to forget. And it just came to me, it was coming out of the woods, Year of the Wood Dragon. And I had watched a video that Akata recorded on the wood dragon, the Year of the Dragon. And I felt like, oh, what is this? Like, it's bringing spiritual knowledge to the earth plane. This is what it just came to. It's like coming out of the wood and the energies that we're in right now. And just sharing this knowledge, it's in a simple way that translates to the current times we're in. And doing that from, again, like knowledge, I think the feminine, like being a woman, being all of who we are in our authenticity, not holding back anymore, but also in a way that translates. Like the thing that came to me was there's a lot of talk in the spiritual circles or in spirituality at activating like light codes. And I was like, people often say that, but there's no explanation. I'm like, what is a light code? Like, it's the knowledge that we have within us. It's activating like our DNA. I know you work with gene keys. It's activating the information that we have within us. So that's kind of like the start of this conversation. And we are going to talk about soul connections, like soulmate, twin flames, kind of a deeper understanding, because again, this is information that is just shared, but what's the depth of it? What does it mean to us individually, and what does it mean to us collectively? So welcome, Akata.
Wow, that was a whole lot of questions. Firstly, I have to apologize that I still have this voice that is not fully recovered. And if I cough here and now, and I'm sorry in advance, just bear with me. And yeah, I second what Shannon have just said, that I think now we are in these frequencies. We are doomed to meet with people that are in the same sphere. And there are many that I don't even like to make it as comparison, but there were many that have walked this path before. And they are so above, observant, and they are so ready to share what they have, what they have learned in the past 20-30 years that I have known people that have walking the spiritual path for so long, and they are they share it with us. And there were many that the frequency is not, it's like they couldn't come close for some reason. It's not a rejection, but it's like we are living in this two-dimensional world already, here and now. And so like this connection with Shannon is amazing, and through our everyday communications, through our posts, through all these little synchronicities, it's just confirmation after confirmation and after confirmation. And it's amazing. It's like another soul talking the same language of me without me needing to explain it. And it feels so right without the need to explain. And apart from that, I don't know, you want to talk about dragons or you want to talk about
I know,
some?
right? I don't know much about dragons. Like I will link your video, but it just came to me like, oh, bringing that spiritual knowledge. Like to me, it's the what I do know about dragons or what I'm learning, it's knowledge, it's wisdom, it's ancient wisdom and knowledge, and bringing that back to like activate that. So if you want to add like anything to that, if it just like if it sparked anything that again would be helpful for others, because I think sometimes again it's that like esoteric level, yet to reach an audience that like anybody could watch this and be like, I get it. Like, oh, that was awesome. Like that was helpful. I can apply this and relate to it rather than feeling like we have to be on some different level to
Yeah.
communicate.
Oh, well, I think with both of us, that is practitioner in galactic astrology. And we know in general sense, when people, like we see alignment of people aspect, that they could have connection with the dragon, which generally being taken almost at once is, oh, it means I am a reptilian, right? And we tend to categorize the good and the bad origins, stars, and constellations. And I think the video that I put out, I was trying to convey a message that is in our bigger whole of our soul journey. We just can't look at one aspect and say, there, look at there, you have been to this constellation, or you have been part of the reptilian race, and so now you sort of like accumulate karma to pay for it. But what about all the other good stuff that we have done?
Yeah.
And should we just overlay it, or say weight which part of our life is better or more important than the others? So I would really like to say, even though there are moments in our life, in our soul journey, that we have been to constellation that quote unquote not benevolent, not like the Pleiades, not like the Arcturians. We all say, oh, they are angelic, or the four royal stars. Even that, every single lessons, big stars that we have been to, make the persons that we are today, that we come here, and as a general lessons for us to learn as a soul. we can't know what is light without knowing what is darkness. And and if a constellation in some point in their history is being portrayed negative, that is part of this fixed star's evolution, just like us. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll let you explain. Like, whoever looking at us today, what would they value? What would their consideration of us? Right?
yeah,
No, you go ahead. I'll let you. I'll
yeah.
let you.
So, and that's too, because to that, it's like this hidden information that's been hidden from us and repressed because like the feminine's been repressed. So it is, seems like that dark is the feminine that's been repressed for thousands of years. So somehow we have these ideas or these fears, or it's bad or negative that kind of like leaks in or seeps into some of the reptilian. But what is the depth? What is the truth of that? Because when I'm seeing it and how I'm experiencing it, it's wisdom, and that's been pushed down. It's been pushed down, and then there's been fear around it. So oftentimes when people are channeling, because that's what's happening, people are channeling this information. It's just an individual that's channeling information. Is it coming from their trauma? Is it coming from like a healed place or a wounded place?
Mm.
And it seems like we're coming into now like embracing, embodying all of it. It's no more like trauma is the lesson, the pain, the suffering, the lesson. So like the reptilian is like the afraid to look at because it's bad, yet it's really, when we look at it from love, from a place that, oh, we're healing, we're accepting all of ourselves, then it's like, oh, no, it was never bad. It was just rejected because of fear. And I think that's one of the things that you and I have taken, like these journeys, like some deep soul work, and where it is going into all of who we are, the fears, what we didn't want to look at, what we are afraid to see if we did look, what being called, like there's like we're gonna look because there's no other possible way, like being on that path. So I think it's like evolving out of some of these stories that were like in between like fear and love. And that is the way through. We have to face those fears to come through it. That's how I experienced, because I never understood the reptilian part. It never like really pulled me in because I was curious about it and I was open about it. And maybe that's why I kind of like had these thoughts to share a different message with people, or like how you and I both have experienced this differently.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think like the just we concentrate with Draco. That is highly from what we have learned in our course and information out there is highly related to the reptilians and stuff. And that is the background, right? As an intuitive like us, we integrate the knowledge that we have, and also through our own experience, how we experience those energies. And I think at the end, how we feel we toward one race or the others, one race as a race of a ET race, is very much reflection of the level of our own shadow work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with me, I think I was fortunate in a sense that I have already established my connection with the dragon race before I joined the galactic astrology. I didn't know that was the right Melchizedek dragon, for instance.
Mhm.
I saw him so clearly. I fly with him. Oh, as a dragon flyer, and also like me flying together with him, like two entities so freely. So I was being able to connect with him without any constraints
Yeah.
beforehand. And so I don't have that ooh Draco and
Yeah.
these sensations. And and whatever we feel, and I think that is very much, it depends on how much we have done our shadow work, how we look within. At the end of this tunnel is very I can't find the word, is um compensating a lot of um I'm sorry, I'm lost.
No worries.
um re I can't find the word. Re compensazione. I'm thinking it Italian. Reward.
Yes.
Reward. Okay, sorry.
Perfect.
That is what happened when you have four languages. Okay. That reward of doing the hard work.
Yes.
And I think the dragon energies, as we know as from the mystic side, mystic realm, and regardless how we depict it, like the mystical um animals, and we can find all these extraordinary drawing out there, right? The thing is, I think the dragons only make connection when you are fully ready. Their energy is so potent. It could literally burn you when you are not fully equipped. And while we might think the angelic energy, like Raphael, Gabriel, they are very generous, they are very kind. The dragon energy, they don't play around. You do your work,
Yeah.
and it has been with me at the end of last year when I make this connection with this gold dragon. Oh gosh, it was like I was in a house that I could really, really meditate for hours. The one day, the one morning that I went out and wanted to do the farmer market or something, I saw a dragon face right in front of my car, looking at me and saying, "No, no, 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 no. We are not going to let you do, you know, playing the little Akata and off with it." It asks the kind of dedications I don't think, and I have never experienced any other ascended masters ask.
It's like a fearlessness. You have to be like absolutely courageous and fearless to walk this narrow path. So that energy is only going to be available to you when you're like when you've made up your mind to walk that path. And to me, it does come in because we have the angelic energies as you're talking about, and those are the ones that we think that walk with God. Well, they all do. And I meditated. I had a like quite different experience, but I meditated recently, a couple days ago, where I thought, like, what is coming up for me? I was like feeling uncomfortable, and I meditated, and it was like the Jesus. So now we're going to go into like the Bible. Like Jesus going to meet or going out into the desert 40 days and 40 nights, and the devil was like, turn this stone, tempted him, turn the stone into bread for food. If you're the son of God, turn this bread into food. And Jesus refused, because, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's what it is. I'm in a situation where I'm like trying to prove myself. I was going into ego a little bit, and it was like, absolutely not. You're going to face, like, what fear is this that you're facing? What like demon, like what reptilian energy, or what we think is dark is like the villain. Like, no, you are going to meet this like evil, whatever you want to call it, and face it, because it's you. You're going out of alignment. You're going into ego to try to prove and get your point across of like my gifts or my abilities. Like, no, see the way. Like, you're going into ego, you're going into your mind and trying to convince somebody else or show somebody else that they were going into their mind. Like, oh wait. That's me going into my mind trying to convince them or get them on like what I consider like the right path, when it's this individual's own personal journey. Like, get back to your journey, get back to like facing all parts of you, all of that shadow, that ego. And in that, that just came to me. I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is like walking that very straight and narrow path that it, again, going back to, you won't meet that like that dragon energy unless you're really fearless and really courageous to own all of who you are, own all of the fears, own all of the shadow, and embrace all of that. And it was so like just clicked. I'm like, oh my goodness, phew. Like, I made it through, like I faced it, and I just embraced it. I don't want to say let it go, but just embraced it. And it's like, okay, that was happening for me because I was being tempted with my ego. So it kind of, it's again, it's like that, just to wrap that up, it's not just like angelic energies that walk with God. It's like the dragon, like it's just as powerful. It's just as loving. It just shows you what love isn't, and to face that.
That is a really profound thinking. I think what you are pointing out is somehow we think being spiritual, right? And we see from distance, from superficials, and we see how people manifest the kind of life or journey that they are living, that we would like to be the one being able to manifest. And it's like Joshua, manifest this rock into bread, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, the manifestation itself has also been abused. If one thing we desired to happen in our life didn't happen, couldn't happen, wouldn't happen, should we take it as a that is my lack of capacity to manifest, or B, the divine have higher plan for me, that what I thought I would like is not actually part of what is good for my path, and C, that you really think that, are you sure actually what you think you want to manifest is what you want? And we are so muddled by that.
Mhm.
Without and I think the journey that you have made, the journey that I have made, did we manifest it, or we walk through it? Only after we can say, yes, that was part of my manifestation. With all the trials and obstacles and pain and sorrow in the meantime that nobody can know.
Mhm.
It's picture. And if people that see me as my post in social media as, oh wow, what a fantastic journey that you have been through, or you, oh what a place that you have been, that you are living with this your 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 vegetable gardens and the kind of country life that you are living. Gosh, gosh. Before I would be offended if somebody just tell me about that. But now I would say, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And I really want to bring out the point of manifestation. It's not every desire that we have meant to be manifest. And that is at the end of the day for our greatest good.
Mhm.
That something doesn't happen.
It teaches humility, which is I am really learning to honor and appreciate. And it's like getting like kind of like knocked down. Like, nope, this isn't gonna happen. Like, oh, I'm gonna be doing this, or oh, I'm gonna be doing that. And what I was putting out there 3 years ago, where I would be, nope. And it's that because I'm choosing to walk this path of service to others, to truly do that from authenticity, is there's what you think is going to be the reward, visibility, followers, likes, just all of this stuff that says you've made it, you're successful, you know what you're talking about. Oh, did
Well, it seems the universe agree with you. Fiber.
I'm like, whoa. And that it's who are you being service to? Right? So if it's about saying the right thing, it's about getting the most likes, the most follows, it's about getting people pulled into, oh my goodness, what is she saying? Like hanging on the word outside of others. Like people like kind of it's this trap of listening over and over and over to channeled messages, which are beautiful and which like I myself, like things come through. But yet it's a time where we get walking the walk. If we keep listening to others that are just going to tell us it's going to be okay or what's going to happen through the astrology, like the predictive stuff, If we are not applying it, if we're not living it, yet we're like looking at our analytics in YouTube, which I just happened to come across. I'm like, oh, if we are measuring ourselves to that, who are we in service to? That's we're in service to the ego. We're in service to the shadow. We're in service to the fear of like uncertainty or not having enough. So like this humility, and every time like, nope, that's not what you're doing. Like, you want to be of service to others. And just like you said, like that, again, going back to that dragon energy, it's like that energy is going to take you there, yet that success, you said, like the gardening and like being in the country and just like, oh, being connected to nature, like slowing down, being authentic in my voice. Like you said, like the opening of the mouth and something that you posted. And I'm like, yes, like opening our mouth, then speaking, like that dragon energy is going to support that with this deep knowledge, with authenticity and integrity. And anything outside of that, it's like, got to ask myself, and I'll speak for myself. What's been coming up for me is, okay, who are you being in service to? And that goes back to Jesus being tempted, turn this rock into bread. To show off to who? To show who what is meant for manifestation. To bring it back to that, to kind of tie it together. It's a narrow path, and I think that's one of the, like that frequency where we can connect to each other on that frequency, that it's like out of this world. It's where we're headed with, you could say, with this Aquarian age, with this like understanding what our individual gifts are.
It is just, I can listen to you for hours. And I think with these dragon energies, with the newer understanding of our mass consciousness, that the epoch that we are walking in now. I think it is time really that for us to walk the walk. We all say now we're going to build the new earth, the new dimensions and stuff. Yes, be that. We can't just keep on talking. And there is a period of total failure in our personal life, in our professional life, in our every aspect that we are facing, because we change the way we see how we want to deal with how we want to give our energy, as you say. And in this year, at the beginning, I really make this as my clear intention. As a triple air, double Libra plus my moon in Aquarius, I can submerge everyone with communications, like literally. But if I still keep doing that, do I do it through the intellect, through the mind, and through the old system? I have to put out 10 things every day so I can keep the attentions. To what end? If you feel my energy, you feel my energy in one post. where I really speak my heart. And if, and I think that is something that I have learned it from you. No, I think I have learned it from you that do I need to present my astrological podcast as astrological podcast? Or should I say it through the way how I feel about it? What I have downloaded.
Yes.
And I find it a game changer.
Mhm.
Instead doing it like a robot, periodically, new moon, full moon, whatever, it comes out whenever it comes out. And if that is not packed with informations, it's okay. And I find it so liberating for myself. Like, oh my gosh, even the last video, like when well, you have already been doing it for quite a while. And me, apart from the Roads of Venus, where we don't have script and we just chat, for me to talk by myself, just whatever came up from my heart, integrating with my mind, of course,
Yeah.
otherwise it's rubbish. It's so liberating.
And it feels so good to listen to that, to hear it. It's like, it is. I'm like, oh, this is what I'm here for. To connect on this soul level. To, everybody, we talk like transcending, like that's transcending, like being liberated, age of Aquarius. Like the Uranian energy, the Aquarian energy is to be free, to be liberated, to be an individual expression of the creator, of the whole, and to be that individual expression, and to honor and acknowledge that it is challenging to come out of that, because it is walking in the direction everybody else is still going this way, yet they're not satisfied, and you can tell, yet they're like, wait, where are they going? Wait, what is that? What is it that I hear? Like, what is that's coming to me, that's unspoken, that desire that I think the energies are supporting, where so many are wanting a true, authentic connection, and the going back to the courage to be the first ones to start walking on that path. And like, okay. So like that is talk about the divine feminine coming forward. Like I peeked at our alignments, and we have very strong divine feminine, right? That, like the core, like our blueprint. Like part of what the purpose we incarnated for was to bring that forward, and to walk as women. Like, what is it to truly collaborate and connect, where there's this giving and receiving of frequency, of creating something that adds to where we're going and shows everyone. I think we talked a little bit about this, but it's safe. It's safe to be all of you and not compete or compare. I think you have to like hustle or work really hard or follow a very strategic plan. Let the divine be that plan and show the way, and being the pioneers of that. I think that's where we've, like that frequency that we're like, whoa, there it is. There's an opening for it. And that means there's more ready for that, more individuals ready for that.
mm, 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 mm. I would like you to talk about a little bit more how you perceive, how you consider the twin flame
Mhm.
and soulmate
Mhm.
connection that is being manifest in today's world from a bigger picture examples or whatever. And I have a feeling that many of us that have gone through life lessons, some could be very traumatic, to put us into a position that we have to be isolated, have to be alone to do our own work. While we are going out from this little hole and of healing, somehow we still carry a lot of wounds that we thought we have healed, but it reflects very much in interactions that Mm. After saying that, I don't think we need to be completely healed to be in a new relationship. There's something that we don't know until we are into a new relationship. By being with the right person.
Mhm.
Mm. So I let you.
So, okay, the twin flame, it's something that I knew little about 2 years ago. I heard about it, I think, as like a judgment came up. Like, okay, like that's a trauma-based relationship. That's somebody like living out, their trauma and still attracting the wrong person. And then another part of me was like, oh, I want that. Because what I had heard was it's the same soul split into two. Like, I want that deep connection. I've always been incredibly into emotions, and that deep, deep connection. I always was never satisfied because I wanted something like a divine counterpart. I couldn't put the words into it in the past. So that's kind of where I was at like 2 years ago. And then like I met this individual, and he's my twin flame. It's like I don't own him. He's not mine. He is a man that I have this experience with. And he started doing construction on my house 2 years ago today. He lives across the way. And I've shared this in some other videos that really, like, first time we talked, I'm like, oh my goodness, I so appreciate you. I met somebody that was going to be working on my house that I automatically trusted. I loved his energy, and he was super cool. He was smoking, so it was like, there's no way I'm going to be with somebody who's not taking care of their temple. I'd been on this healing journey, so I didn't think I was really happy to have this person in my life. And like, oh, I'm manifesting, like I'm attracting the right people. So the first time he came into my house, I was gone, and I walk in, his jacket was thrown on my couch, and I thought, interesting, like it belonged there. Like I would have like thought when like, okay, get comfortable real quick, mister. But I was like, oh, it belongs here. He belongs here. So it was really just like the discoveries of this twin flame, and it started coming in dreams. He was in my dream, and we were actually talking in the dream, and I was very much the light, he was very much the dark, and I was here to bring him to the light. This is what like the message is coming through. And then I was automatically like, oh, twin flame, this is the flame within. This is merging my masculine and feminine. So I was very much in denial about the significance of our bond. And then I started the galactic astrology, and I've shared this in, video, and so I won't go deep into that, but through the galactic astrology, I went kind of down this Pleiades, like analyzing, going like deep analytical, and I started comparing all of our different alignments. And I felt like, let me do some others. I had done some other friends that were married and like children, like parents and children, and I saw the connections there. But this one, I was like, what is this? It was just so significant. And there was a lot of like the galactic energies that we shared. So it was like a very theme, and it just, my guidance, like everything was telling me like, no, this is somebody like significant in your life that you share this connection with. And when we would communicate, it would be, he would be standing like right next to me, and I wouldn't even look at him. And I'd be like, I would make a comment about what he was thinking, and he would do the same with me. So just really sharing, again, frequency, telepathy, psychic abilities. So it was very harmonious, and it was like, oh my goodness, like this is, if I could take away the habits, this is everything I've ever wanted in a man. Like, couldn't do any wrong. It was just perfect. It was harmonious. And then boom, all the trauma that is buried about relationships, about love, about like all of that kind of committed relationship started coming up. And it, again, like explosion, like couldn't be around each other. And then we
Mhm.
would come back and then couldn't be around each other. And so this twin flame, then I was hearing, and I don't like to do too much investigation because then it clouds my own individual experience. So, but I did read some stuff, and I had found a podcast that I ended up being on, twin flame transformations. And I talked with this woman, and there was a lot of talk about like separations, where people would just like block the other twin. Like, what are y'all doing to get blocked? Stalking, psycho, mad, like just on Instagram or texting. Like, what are you doing? I thought, like, how interesting. And then it happened to me in October. He blocked me because I terrified him, because I got, and this goes into another side of astrology, like psyche. So being able to read somebody else's mind, and that's too much of a story, but like it is an asteroid that the mythology to it was like exactly what happened between him and I. We were here at my house. I said something to him about what he was thinking and doing the night before and the exact time. And I've done this before, yet this time it terrified him and it freaked him out, and he felt totally betrayed, just like in the mythology and psyche. And just so people, if they're curious, I'll put a link to a blog that explains it. But it was exactly how it happened in the mythology. He felt betrayed. Nothing but love was in his mind, like when I went into his mind, yet he was not ready, not in a place to have this level of a spiritual relationship. So the twin flame, it's kind of that it is that split and that separation because one individual is ready for that spiritual connection on a spiritual path and the other one is not. So that's kind of this, and there's so much out there about twin flame because it's a very like obsessive relationship because everybody wants that true deep love. And so we had this separation that I'd heard about in October, and I get it. I still had more healing, and he has healing to do. So, like, energetically, like the divine is like, all right, you two are separating because now that you've been exposed to the depths of who you are in relationship with another, now it's time to do your inner work and heal what was hidden before. And it's so significant to the collective, even now. And I love that we're talking about this because Mars and Venus are coming together, Cheriklo and Chiron. To me, Mars and Venus is the physical expression, like Cheriklo and Chiron are a non-physical expression of the masculine and feminine within, but also without, like how we're experiencing relationships. And it's like opening up a portal for love to flow through on the individual level, but also because we're craving it so much in our evolution to have authentic, deep relationships where we are communicating both verbally and non-verbally. And we're, again, going into this Aquarian age where we are merging with in higher dimensions. Did that answer your question?
That is, yes, and that's okay. I am a person tend not to categorize
Mm-hmm.
of experiences, and yet I think some lessons with individuals are meant to be to bring us to understand ultimately how much we love ourselves first, regardless of the twin flame. And as a Libra, like coming sorry, coming out from 30 years of marriage, it's like there is no I without the we, and in the process for the we, I have sacrificed the whole I. And so the journey, the hardest journey for me in the last year or so was to accept it is actually okay without another person. Not only okay, because that I have reached a point that I totally accept myself first,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this journey in America serve also that, serve a whole lot more on that of finally finding my own true self identity. And it's just so coincidence that South Node entered Libra in July. August, I was already in Canada. I mean, like, we can say what people can say whatever they want. The planetary movement have influence on us, like the video you have yesterday on the moon. on the zodiac sign. And now knowing it helps to go through the lessons with less trauma,
Yes.
less drama, right? And doesn't mean that we don't go through the same turbulence, emotions, and experiences. But knowing that you are better equipped. And so for me, and that twin flame in this process is also and knowing what is that flame in me, first of all, and what I am able to share after that.
Yeah.
And if come that person that like we look at the synastry, the soul relationships, and we find our bits and pieces that we can say, oh, we have that karmic relationships and here and there. But it's very much, I think, as you say, like, is that person now ready to walk the same path as you?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that means that we have one twin flame or flames that meant to come into our life to help us to understand certain aspect of ourselves?
Yeah. I like for me, like I don't even know, and this could change tomorrow, but how I feel and just the amount of love, like one, the amount of love I have for self, I have for God, for the divine. There's nothing more, nothing will take me away from that. And, and this man, I love him that much, and I couldn't imagine in this moment, could not imagine wanting anyone else to to be in an intimate relationship with. That could change, but that's how I felt. And we haven't talked since October, yet I still feel him. And I've been feeling him like again, and that doesn't go away. And two, and this is just connecting with you at the level I've connected with you. I was like, thought this after we talked. I'm like, oh, this is like the reward of knowing self, of making the relationship with myself the most important, is now I get to experience others at this level. And again, that goes back to can't have that without the divine love of self first. Just like the Libra, like the Aries axis. It's like why we're on it right now. It's because of that conditioning and all the conditional love. All we've been taught was you sacrifice, you give up yourself for others. And what we're learning is like we'll never have true love unless we have it first with ourselves, with the divine, with God. Then we'll have it with whoever else wants that as well. And to really be able to navigate relationships with others, I have so many, just as you met so many individuals on your journey, and you find love, and that goes to the soulmate. Because we're all really on that, getting back to that place. We're an individual expression, but there's so many like soulmates, and to look. And I know you commented on my soul connection video, like to be able to face the depths of you, to forgive, to heal within, you see the beauty of your other relationships, and you see how profound and how purposeful it was to meet them and have that relationship with them. And to be able to see it through that lens, through what to me, like, that is reality, that is what's true. This incarnation is challenging, and it's, whew, we are coming through so much wounding and pain that's handed down from so many generations, that's what we're healing, is to see the beauty in that. And to see, like, this came up for like Chiron yesterday. I was listening to a talk, and I'm like, oh, Chiron, like the wounded healer, us. It is the energy, it is the experience to be wounded, to live the wound, to experience the wound, to walk with the wounds, and to heal those wounds. Because that's how we know what love is. We have to know what suffering is first. And that it's, so all of this, as you said, like, because you feel it really strongly, because it's right there, the Libra, the South Node, like, integrating that pain of putting others first, of people pleasing, of trying to find that love, to integrate that with the love of self, which we are being very supportive right now. And now, like, Chiron is conjunct the North Node in Aries, so it's so fantastic. To your point, I could pick out, through going back and looking at the astrology, and I can remember specific instances, circumstances, situations that were absolutely matched the astrology and my experience. So to your point, is to be in flow. When we know the astrology, when we understand it, we can go like, oh, we can do it with more ease and more flow and more allowing, instead of the resistance and the fighting. Like, why is this happening to me? Why are people treating me bad? Why did I have this circumstance happen to me that is like the other shoe dropping? Or like, how many more bad things can happen to me that, people kind of go through, until it's like, oh wait, no, this is happening for us. And then the astrology is like, you can't really prepare for it, but you could be open and in flow and accepting.
And sometimes the divine, they send messages, visions, without us knowing where did that come from, right? And is I think regardless that we call it twin flame, soulmate, whatever, it's not finding the right person. It's making the right person be the right person. The rest knows.
Enjoy the adventure. Yeah, because it's, yeah. And I don't, I use the word, and I had to come to myself to not attach and not avoid this experience, not attach to twin flame the experience, not to avoid it, and to also use the word with, for me, with confidence. And everybody gets to judge it, desire it, whatever they want with it. Because that's part of the experience as well, right? Because if you think like the creators, we are it, the creator wants to experience every possible scenario that there is. So that means to be delusional about a twin flame, anything really, that's just one example. To manipulate others with it, to make money off of it, which I've seen people out there doing, because people do get like obsessed, but it's part of our healing through it. So it's happening in the collective, and it's becoming so talked about and so out there in society and on social media and in other circles, because that's part of our healing. That's part of accepting all of all. That's how I've come to see it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm putting it out there and I'm talking about it, and I'm okay with all of it. It's part of it. And it's just a very small part of all of that we're experiencing.
It is.
This, thank you. And thank you, anyone who watches, and cheers to being more authentic and more accepting of all these transitions we're in.
Yes. Good luck, by the way.
Good luck. It's a ride.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. Bye, everyone.